Shedeur Sanders just pulled off something most rookies can only dream of, and the NFL is not handling it well. Imagine this. Before even playing a single regular season down, he lands the biggest Nike deal of any rookie quarterback in recent memory. Bigger than the guys taken way higher in the draft. Bigger than some veterans who've been grinding for years. And the twist? He's not even starting yet. Oh, and he's Deion Sanders' son.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Which means every single step he takes is already lit up under a microscope the size of Texas. But here's the thing. This isn't just a flashy brand moment. This is a full-on power move. And it's rattling cages. Because what Shedeur's doing right now, it's rewriting the script. He's not waiting to prove himself in the NFL before cashing in. He's showing up with the endorsements, the media presence, the clout, and yes, the pressure of living up to primetime legacy status. And people have opinions. Especially the old guard who don't love seeing a 22-year-old roll into the league like he owns half of it before even taking a real NFL snap. Now, let's rewind a little. Shedeur Sanders was always going to be someone to watch. Not just because of who his dad is, though being the son of Deion Primetime, Sanders definitely doesn't hurt. Shedeur made headlines at Jackson State, transferred to Colorado when his dad took over as head coach, and instantly became one of the most watched college QBs in the country. He had the stats, he had the swagger, and, crucially, he had the media machine humming at full speed. Fast forward to draft day. Shedeur gets picked up by the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, those Browns, and it's a complicated fit. A team with a chaotic quarterback history, a divided locker room, and a fan base that's basically in a permanent state of nervous breakdown. Not exactly a fairy tale debut. But again, Shedeur isn't doing this the normal way. From day one, he came in with his own team, his own brand, and apparently a monster Nike contract that had even seasoned pros raising eyebrows. This Nike deal? It's not just lucrative, it's disruptive. The kind of deal that signals to the league. This kid isn't just here to play football. He's building an empire. And you know what that does? It pisses people off. Because as soon as the money starts flowing, so does the microscope. Suddenly, every move Shedeur makes becomes a headline. And unfortunately, the headlines haven't all been about touchdowns and preseason chemistry. Let's talk about the speeding. Multiple incidents in 2025. We're not talking a one-off, oops I was going 10 over moment. We're talking repeat violations. Some fans brush it off. He's young, he's rich, he's driving a Lamborghini or something. But the NFL, and more importantly, the public, didn't find it so harmless. The optics? Terrible. The narrative? Entitled rookie can't follow basic rules. And you know how the media loves a morality tale. Suddenly the conversation wasn't about whether Shedeur could handle an NFL offense. It was whether he could handle adulthood. The kind of is this kid even mature enough talk that clings to young, high-profile athletes like lint on a black hoodie. Then there's the social media circus. And oh boy, this is where things really spiral. See, Shedeur's online presence isn't subtle. He posts a lot. From designer fits to cryptic tweets, to not-so-subtle claps back at haters, it's a running narrative. And in 2025, when tensions were already high, he got into it with a few very vocal critics. Including, of course, Antonio Brown, who somehow found time between lawsuits and podcast meltdowns to come for Shedeur publicly. Now you'd think people would brush off an Antonio Brown rant, but no, because when a guy like AB throws shade, it becomes a clickbait goldmine. The coverage shifted again. Less about Shedeur's preseason reads, and more about who he's beefing with online. And suddenly, Shedeur became less of a promising rookie, and more of a polarizing headline. What's worse? The football analysts started joining in, but not in a helpful way. Instead of breaking down his preseason tape fairly, people started nitpicking. Was he holding the ball too long? Playing hero ball? Making rookie mistakes under pressure? Sure, but that's normal. What wasn't normal was how quickly the narratives turned toxic. Every interception was treated like a personality flaw. Every sack was a symbol of bad judgment. And look, It's not like the Browns' offensive line is exactly known for giving their QBs a five-star pocket. But that didn't matter. The pile-on had begun, and Shedeur, whether he wanted to be or not, was now the main character of NFL preseason drama. Meanwhile, in the locker room, not exactly chill vibes. There's tension. Always is when a high-profile rookie with a brand bigger than the team walks in the door. You've got veterans trying to hold onto their spots, undrafted guys clawing for relevance, and then there's Shedeur posting fit checks while trying to win the QB2 slot. Team dynamics get complicated real fast, and the outside noise doesn't help. Then came the oblique injury. Not major, but enough to sideline him for a chunk of the preseason, which, again, should have been a minor bump. But instead, it added fuel to the "is this kid ready" fire. Because the thing about hype is, when you don't live up to it instantly, the crash is brutal. Oh, and let's not forget the brand angle. That Nike deal? Incredible when things are going well. But the moment your name gets attached to headlines like reckless driving and immature social media antics, those same brands start sweating. Endorsements are fickle. And while Shedeur's still sitting comfortably now, he's walking a razor-thin line between marketable genius and PR liability. Behind the scenes, you can practically feel the pressure. Not just the pressure to play well, but to be perfect. To live up to his dad's shadow, keep the brand strong when the locker room, stay out of drama, and also play quarterback for a chaotic franchise in one of the most cutthroat leagues in the world. No big deal, right? The psychological toll of this kind of spotlight? Absolutely brutal. It's easy to sit back and call him entitled. But how many 22-year-olds are managing full-time careers, corporate partnerships, a national media brand, and legacy pressure from one of the most iconic athletes in history, all while trying to master a complicated playbook under fire? It's not just about talent anymore. It's about perception. Because in today's NFL, the narrative is the player. And Shedeur's narrative? It's teetering between prodigy and problem. Here's the wild part. Despite all of this chaos, his preseason performances haven't been bad. Flashes of brilliance, smart reads, athletic instinct. He's still good. But in the noise of scandal, social media, and skepticism, talent becomes a background detail. What matters more? Whether people like the idea of you. That's the game now. The NFL isn't just a league, it's a brand jungle. And Shedeur Sanders? He's playing chess in a game designed to eat rookies alive. So what do we take away from all this? Well, first of all, the Shedeur Sanders story isn't over. Not even close. He could flame out or become a franchise savior. He could be the next poster child of the modern athlete, business-savvy, self-aware, and unbothered by boomer critics. Or he could crack under the pressure of trying to be everything, everywhere, all at once. Either way, it's a wild ride. And it's forcing a conversation the NFL isn't totally ready to have. What does it mean to be a successful athlete in 2025? Is it just about performance? Or is it also about branding, image, composure, and the ability to manage an audience as much as a defense? Because Shedeur's not just trying to win games, he's trying to win the narrative war. And right now, the scoreboard is glitching. So what do you think? Is Shedeur Sanders the future of sports marketing or a cautionary tale in the making? Is he a bold new kind of player or just another ego the league needs to humble? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit that subscribe button if you're here for the chaos. We've got plenty more where that came from. And remember, in the NFL, talent gets you drafted. But how you handle the mess, that's what makes you legendary. Let's be real for a second. No one in the NFL is ever just an athlete anymore. Not in this era. Not in this economy of clout. And definitely not if your last name is Sanders. Shedeur didn't just inherit his father's genetics. He inherited a spotlight so bright it could fry the skin off lesser mortals. On primetime, Sanders wasn't just a player, he was a cultural institution. Flashy suits, blinding charisma, two-sport domination. The man was a human highlight reel. So, naturally, the second Shedeur laced up cleats, he wasn't just playing football. He was auditioning for legacy. That's the kicker, isn't it? The weight of the Sanders name is both a cheat code and a curse. You get in more doors, sure. But if you trip on the way in, every camera's already rolling. Every misstep plays on a loop. And unlike Prime, who made his name in a different era, Shedeur's journey is happening in the age of content. There are no warm-ups, no privacy, no time to learn quietly. Your first mistake is a meme. Your second is a think piece. And yet you have to admit, there's something hypnotic about how Shedeur's navigating this storm. For all the headlines, for all the chaos, the kid isn't backing down. He posts what he wants, wears what he wants, says what he wants, does not apologize unless absolutely required by the laws of PR physics. It's defiant, it's calculated, it's risky, and depending on who you ask, it's either inspiring or incredibly annoying. Because there's a whole class of NFL veterans and football purists side-eyeing the whole operation. They see the designer watches, the cameras, the handlers, the deals, and they're like, where's the grit? Where's the locker room grind, the film sessions, the hazing by fire? They don't want curated brand moments. They want blood on the turf and dirt under the nails. But that's not Shedeur's path. He's not just in the game. He's branding it, monetizing it, editing it in real time. This isn't about waiting 10 years to tell his story in a documentary. He's telling it now, on Instagram, on TikTok, through cameras he owns, with narrative control that most rookies couldn't even imagine. And that's exactly why some people can't stand him. The NFL isn't used to rookies showing up with more leverage than their GMs. It's not used to players being media entities first. But Shedeur? He's not waiting for a highlight reel to go viral. He's uploading it himself, with captions. And guess what? It's working. Brands love him. Gen Z loves him. College fans still follow him. And every NFL hater who insists he's overrated, still watching, still commenting, still fueling the algorithm. But here's the dark undercurrent that no one wants to say out loud. What if all this isn't sustainable? Let's not forget, this is a kid who hasn't even played a full NFL season. Every moment of attention, every brand partnership, every million-dollar handshake. It's all built on potential. Which means the second that potential starts to wobble, even just a little, the whole machine gets shaky. And right now, the machine is wobbling. Between the injury setbacks, the discipline questions, and the locker room whispers, Shedeur is walking a razor's edge. He's expected to win games, stay out of trouble, mature rapidly, and still keep the hype train moving full speed. That's not just pressure, it's a psychological crucible. And it begs the question, who's actually helping this kid behind the scenes? Because let's not forget, athletes aren't bulletproof. We've seen this play out before. The meteoric rise, the relentless spotlight, the branding before the foundation is even set. And yeah, some survive it. Some even thrive in it. But a lot burn out. Fast. When you're constantly playing both quarterback and CEO, something eventually gives. Either your focus slips or your performance dips, or you lose the locker room trying to protect the brand. And the NFL? They'll turn on you in a heartbeat. One bad season, and that big Nike deal turns into awkward silence. One off-field scandal, and that once screaming fan base starts whispering about bust potential. It's brutal, but it's real. And Shedeur isn't just facing that pressure from the league. He's also facing it from home. Because let's be honest, being Deion Sanders' son, that's not just a fun family anecdote. That's a career condition. Deion is his own walking sports network, louder than life, brilliant, and always on. He's been Shedeur's coach, his publicist, his brand manager, his hype man, and sometimes his shadow. When Shedeur wins, it's a Sanders win. When he struggles, it's Primetime's kid letting the name down. That's a hell of a burden. And as much as Deion wants the best for his son, and probably believes he's doing everything right, you have to wonder, where's the space for Shedeur to just be himself? Because at some point, this story has to become his own. Not his dad's. Not his brand team's. His. Maybe that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. This isn't just a sports story. It's a generational collision, a battle between the old way and the new way, between those who think athletes should speak only with their performance and those who believe visibility is the performance, between tradition and transformation, obedience and ownership. And right now, Shedeur is the face of that collision. He's not trying to wait his turn. He's not humbling himself at the altar of NFL tradition. He's showing up with a camera crew, a seven-figure deal, and a very clear message. I'm not here to fit your mold. I'm here to make my own. Is it cocky? Yeah. Is it risky? Absolutely. But it's also kind of iconic. Like, love him or hate him, you remember him. You're talking about him. The league is watching him. And Nike? Nike bet the house on him. You don't drop the biggest rookie QB endorsement package on someone you're unsure about. You do that because you think this guy isn't just going to play well. He's going to own the moment. But that bet? It's still being tested. Because hype only lasts so long without results. And in a sport where every hit could be your last, Shedeur's not just fighting for headlines anymore. He's fighting for longevity. For relevance that outlives the flash. For respect that doesn't come from followers, but from fourth-quarter comebacks. The truth is, he might pull it off. He might become the first modern quarterback who blends legacy, performance, and business into one unstoppable package. The LeBron of football branding. The new blueprint. Or he might collapse under the weight of too much, too fast. That's the gamble. That's the tension. And that's why we're all watching. Because beneath the surface of the Nike contracts and the media firestorms, what we're really witnessing is something deeper. A young man trying to figure out who he is, what he wants, and how to be great on his own terms. No matter what the league, the fans, or even his own last name expect from him. Will he make it? You tell me. So let's sit in this for a moment, because this is where the story really starts to cook. Forget the press releases. Forget the Instagram posts with captions like, just getting started, under a photo of Shedeur in a custom suit, mid-stride like he's auditioning for a GQ cover. Strip all of that away, and what are we left with? A 22-year-old kid trying to be the quarterback of a legacy. Not just for his team, not just for himself, but for a narrative. One that's been building since his high school days, back when people weren't just scouting his arm, they were scouting his bloodline. His last name was already doing half the talking before he ever took a snap. Now fast forward to the NFL, and suddenly it's not just about reading defenses. It's about defending your existence. Every week, every throw, every tweet, every eyebrow raise on the sideline. He's not just expected to play quarterback. He's expected to justify a multi-million-dollar brand empire, carry the expectations of being the crown prince of primetime, and stay 10 steps ahead of a media landscape that loves nothing more than to watch someone fly too close to the sun. And right now, he's flapping those wings with a target on his back. Because here's the thing about being a disruptor. You don't get the luxury of a learning curve. You don't get a rookie grace period. You don't even get to mess up in peace. Not when your arrival threatens the status quo. Not when you're the embodiment of everything the old-school football heads hate, the money, the followers, the lack of respect for the game, aka the fact that you're not groveling for acceptance. Shedeur doesn't grovel. He glides. But when you glide, people are just waiting to see if you'll trip midair. And oh boy, they are waiting. Because there's already this undercurrent, this not-so-quiet whisper making the rounds on talk shows, on Reddit threads, in locker rooms. Is Shedeur even serious about football? Not is he talented? Because that part is obvious. The arm strength is there. The vision. The accuracy under pressure. All of it. You don't become a D1 standout and enter the NFL conversation without the goods. But the whispers aren't about mechanics. They're about mentality. About whether the fame machine has diluted the grind. About whether the flashy watch on his wrist is ticking toward greatness or just counting down to a cautionary tale. You know the kind. The could-have-been huge stories. We've heard them before. But Shedeur? He's trying to prove he's not that. He's not the sideshow. He is the main event. And yeah, maybe he took the express elevator to brand relevance. But that doesn't mean he's skipping steps on the field. He just refuses to apologize for walking into the building like he owns the top floor. And yet, when that oblique injury happened, you could feel the tone shift. Just a little. A crack in the armor. A "see, I told you so" energy brewing among the skeptics. Never mind that injuries are part of the game. Never mind that half the league limps through preseason. For him, it was different. For him, it was proof. Proof that he might not be built for the weekly brutality of the league. And let's not sugarcoat this. The NFL does not hand out grace, especially not to someone with a bigger following than most of the coaching staff. So what does Shedeur do now? That's the $1,000,000, or let's be real, multi-million-dollar question. Because there's a version of this story where the pressure starts folding in, where he lets the narrative control him instead of the other way around, where every small mistake gets magnified, every cold streak gets turned into a headline, and every teammate's side-eye becomes a leadership question. But then again, there's also the other version, the one where Shedeur doesn't just survive this chaos. He weaponizes it. Think about it. What if he is everything he says he is? What if the branding isn't a distraction? It's an extension of confidence. What if the reason people are uncomfortable isn't because he's failing, but because he's succeeding in a way they don't understand yet? Maybe this isn't arrogance. Maybe it's strategy. A new kind of quarterback. One who knows the game on the field and the one being played off it. One who understands that being great in 2025 doesn't just mean calling audibles at the line. It means calling the shots everywhere else too. Sponsorships, social presence, personal narrative. That's the real three-step drop. And if Shedeur can master all of that, then maybe he's not ahead of his time. Maybe we're just catching up. Still, none of that changes the fact that the field is where it all gets real. The branding doesn't mean squat if the numbers don't follow. So far, his preseason has shown flashes, moments where the pocket collapses and he improvises like a seasoned vet, or when he drops a dime between two defenders that makes you go, oh yeah, he's him. But then come the growing pains, the missed reads, the sacks, the moments when he tries to do too much. That hero ball tendency? It's a double-edged sword. You love it when it works. You cringe when it doesn't. And it hasn't always worked. So the challenge now isn't just about shutting up the haters. It's about showing the team, the locker room, the coaching staff, the front office, that he's more than the hype. That when the lights are brightest and the heat is on, he's not thinking about endorsements or TikTok edits. He's thinking about the game, the win, the moment. Because at the end of the day, NFL teams don't invest in vibes. They invest in results. And that's where Shedeur's future will be decided. Not on the cover of Sports Illustrated, not on a billboard in Times Square, but in those third and long situations in November, when the game is on the line, and you've got 40 seconds to remind everyone that you're not just a personality. You're a quarterback. And if he gets there, if he really gets there, then everything changes. Suddenly, he's not a flashy distraction. He's a new model. Proof that athletes can be media moguls and team leaders. That you can build the brand without sacrificing the grind. That you don't have to fit into some tired mold of humility just to be taken seriously. You can be loud, confident, polarizing, and still win games. And if that happens, if Shedeur locks in, levels up, and takes over, then yeah, the Nike deal wasn't too early. It was too small. So here we are, teetering on the edge of two timelines. One where Shedeur becomes the future of the league, and one where the league chews him up, spits him out, and turns his highlight reel into a cautionary TikTok montage. But for now, we watch, we wait, we refresh the feed. Because like it or not, the Shedeur Sanders show is in full swing. And whether it ends in glory or disaster, it's already prime time.